All right, what's the best piece of advice you've received in real estate?
Um, the best piece of advice that I've received is stop trying to do everything yourself. So once I started delegating away and really structuring my business with processes and people, my business just grew and stress went down. So that's probably the best word of advice that I've received.
Worst piece of advice?
Just work harder.
Hmm.
So in real estate, you can always find more to do, right? And I think we're all very competitive. We talked about this together earlier on the call. And I think systems and people beat hustle alone, right? So it goes back to the people delegation, getting the right people in place will really let you scale and you don't have to work harder. You just got to really work smarter. So,
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense because you're right. We can always be busy and that can feel productive. And
yep.
then if we reflect on what we've done over that time period, it's
Yep.
not always productive.
Totally.
And I know I fall into that trap. So I appreciate that advice. My guest today is Jarret Jarvis from Second City Agents with Compass. He is in Chicago. Let me tell you more about Jarret. Jarret is a licensed real estate agent with Compass Realty who has sold over 200 homes and has been featured on HGTV, Barstool Sports, and also featured in Real Producers Magazine. He is also the founder and CEO of Cura, a virtual assistant company that helps real estate agents streamline operations, scale their businesses, and focus on serving clients. Before transitioning into real estate, Jarret worked with Fortune 500 companies as a channel marketing specialist, collaborating with remodelers, builders, and architects. A marketing graduate from Illinois State University, he is known for his strong work ethic, creative strategy, and deep commitment to his clients. Born and raised in Chicago, he now lives in Irving Park with his wife, Elise, their daughter, Sienna, their dog, Wyatt, and also manages 20 rental units as an active investor. So he's doing a lot. Well, I want you to follow Jarret at his Instagram, on his Instagram, which is Homes of Chicago, and check out his virtual assistant company. We're going to be talking about that today. That is Work with Cura, C-U-R-A, workwithcura.com. We'll have links to both of those in the show notes. Jarret, welcome.
Thanks for the intro, DJ. That was great. Appreciate it. Great.
I it's always fun for me to get to know, especially people here locally in Chicago. I don't
Sure.
do as many Chicago interviews anymore. I started only doing Chicago interviews because that was the only
Yeah.
people I had the confidence to even ask, would you come on my show?
Yeah.
And now I don't get to do as many. So I appreciate that. You and I have some mutual friends.
Sure.
And I really admire your team, your
Thanks.
team at Compass. I know many of those agents, and they're all just great agents. And I'm excited to have you here. So I want to talk a little bit. I love that you have a marketing background. That's my background as
Yep.
well. And I
Yep.
want to sort of dive into that first and just kind of understand how you think about marketing, because that is something that you probably bring that particular skill set where a lot of agents, struggle on the marketing side. So tell us a little bit about, how you market your business.
Sure. I think that brand is everything, right? I think as you stated earlier, it's Homes of Chicago. And right when I started from the beginning, I wanted to be the go-to Chicago agent for real estate agents nationwide. I didn't think about uh, actual clients. I thought about how do I get out to a broader section of people. So it was a completely different mindset. So my marketing mindset is completely the opposite of what people are doing. So if you're going A, I'm going B, right? It's also guerrilla marketing tactics, right? Like doing different things on social media, like top 30 lists. Like one of our videos got 60,000 views. It was, and usually it's top 10, right? It's a top 10 list.
Yeah,
I said, let's do a top 10 of ramen noodle soup.
love it.
Super random. Have I ate at all those places? Maybe I haven't. You don't know that. But 60,000 people tuned into that video and were requesting and debating about ramen noodle
And,
soup.
and
Okay.
by the way, I'm going to jump in for a second because this is such a brilliant video. I love ramen, and there are maybe 100 ramen places here in
Yeah.
Chicago or close to it. There probably really is about 100. And every time I always forget which is the best. I literally just can't remember because I have a terrible memory. And I always go onto Google. Well, I
Yep.
guess I would use ChatGPT to help me, but I always go or YouTube and I would say, or Reddit, and I would say,
Yep.
it's the very best ramen right now because new ones pop up all the time.
Sure.
And it's so funny that you made that video because that is such a brilliant video. Because
Thanks.
like me, would have found that video. I
Yep.
have found that video, and it's just a great idea for marketing because yeah,
Yep.
60,000 people. I mean, the ramen is such a great example of that.
Yeah. Exactly. And I don't think it has to be all about like marketing. You really need to know who your target market is,
Yeah,
right? And you really need to think outside the box. Like, how can you help people with a problem? Right? And for our clients, as you know, in real estate, they're looking for you to be the solution for it's not just the real estate transaction, it's everything in life from engagement rings to the best ramen places
yeah.
to, a lot of my followers now are real estate agents around the country because I'm on one of the top teams in Chicago. I'm using virtual assistants. And now they're looking at me for what is he using a virtual assistant for? Right. Like I haven't posted on social media this year myself once. It's my VAs,
Sure.
right? I'm behind the scenes creating the content, like looking at the content, approving the content and stamping it, but then it goes out and it's out to the world. So it's been pretty cool.
Yeah, I love that. I want to dive into this problem solving methodology because
Yep.
this is a marketing sort of paradigm shift that once somebody gets it, specifically around solving problems related to what your clients are experiencing and may not be related to real estate, right? Like ramen. It might be
Sure.
dinner. What am I going to
Sure.
have for dinner? Or maybe it is real estate related tangentially, like where's the best grocery store in this particular neighborhood, or
Yep.
how close am I to the subway system here in Chicago we call the L, or things like that. Or where are the best places to live for X, Y, or Z? I think those are absolutely how I know that's how I search online, and I'm always looking for answers to those questions. We're going on a trip to the Northeast in next week, and I specifically was looking at like where are the best places to visit in Maine, New
Yep.
Hampshire, and Vermont. And
Exactly.
those are searches I do, and those are video searches I do. And you're right,
Exactly.
60,000 people will find that. And what I love about YouTube in particular, that a lot of agents sort of neglect YouTube and they focus more on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok. And those are great, but those are sort of flash in the pan, digestible. They go away. They don't, I mean, they do technically live forever, but they don't, the algorithm doesn't really favor older content, but YouTube does favor older content if it's good.
Sure.
And that stuff just lives forever. And you can continually get leads. I'm sure you do
Yeah, totally.
from those kind of
Me too.
videos. So, when you start to think about problems that your clients have, it must be pretty fun to do that because then you
Yeah.
just can think about content creation.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, like one of the things one of the problems we saw with clients, for example, was we're moving in a new house. We need a ton of new furniture.
Yeah.
And if you've moved before, DJ, you know it's extremely expensive to buy furniture. How many agents out there have trade discounts or even know what trade
Oh,
discounts are? Like if you have an LLC and you're a real estate agent, you can message every major top brand out there and you can get 20 to 40% off discount codes that you can provide to your clients. And
wow.
so just having that sheet to send out to your clients when they move or posting on social media, people are like, hey, like I didn't buy with you. I bought with this other person. Like, why didn't they give me a trade discount? Can you give me the trade? Absolutely. Like I'll give it to anyone, right? And it's that going back to help with, and how do you solve? Oh, that's just an example.
That is a great example. I've never heard of that. So I love that. So if you have an LLC or an S corporation, you have
Mhm.
a company for your real estate practice, as Jared says, reach out to the furniture manufacturers and
Yeah.
see if they're, gosh, I didn't know that. That
Even
is
DJ, you
great.
could even reach out to Crate and Barrel. Crate and
Yeah,
Barrel has trade discounts for
great.
30% off, like the Container Store, Our House, all those different companies.
I'm thinking about, so I'm looking to put my place on the market, and I have to get it, just things patched up and the
Yeah.
scuffs marked out, that kind of thing. And I realized I have this one of my I guess baseboards is got some water in it. And it kind of expanded, so I have to replace
Sure.
it. And I'm like, I don't know who does that. I mean, I can find somebody on Tasker and I could just look it up,
Yeah.
but I would much rather go to somebody like you who probably knows who the best handymen are,
Yep.
and or you would have that resource. And I have a license. I don't really use it, but I don't know who to go to. So those are things that people
Sure.
struggle with. And everybody, I always think like probably everybody who owns a property could always use a handyman at any given time while they're living there. Like there's always a project that isn't finished,
Totally.
something to be fixed up. So even
Totally.
handyman stuff is super helpful.
Oh yeah. I mean, you have to have that, especially as our careers have progressed. We're now getting more into the listings, and we have to have a whole team come in and quickly get this house up to what the quality that we like to list, right? So, I mean, we have two pretty much handymen that are working around at Chicagoland area, an electrician, plumber, drywaller, all that stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about some trends that you've noticed, and how are buyers and sellers changing these days? I know you've mentioned there's been some shifts, and curious to know sort of what you're witnessing.
Well, on the buyer side, they are definitely hyper focused on the rate. I would say because, this generation saw the
Yeah,
rates drop to in the 2s and 3s, and they don't
sure,
really understand the concept of why did that happen? Why did it go back up so quickly? And now it's going down. And for example, like I have clients under contract right now, they got a 6.75 interest rate from one mortgage broker, and the other one just beat him by half a point.
wow,
Okay. And they're like, why does that happen? And I'm like, that's a great question, right? Um, Now, did that mortgage broker lock in the rates? The rates went up today. Who knows? But I think they're super hyper focused on that. I also think that now with ChatGPT and AI, they can really, really be um, just really, really know a lot more about the home buying process at their fingertips. Like you can take a photo of an AC unit in ChatGPT, post it, and say, "What year is this?" And the serial number instantly tells me what's the life like expectancy and how long it's been. So I would say that. And then on the selling side, right? It's they are expecting um, the house to really be marketed in a very I would say visually impactful way, right? Like I had a client the other day was like, "Hey, should we virtually stage this? Like, if we're gonna remove all of the furniture that's in there because it's a renter, and we're gonna virtually stage it." And I said, "Hey, if you're scrolling through 80 places today, okay, and you see a property that's empty, okay, and then you see a property that has staged furniture, virtually staged. You may not even know if it's virtually staged because it's so good,
sure,
but you can envision your dining room table being in that kitchen. You can imagine your couch being in that living room. That gets your mind thinking, and it slows you down just a little bit from not scrolling every second to maybe every 3 seconds. And then they
ah,
get attached to that house, right? So I think sellers are really expecting us to really step our games up from an artificial standpoint. Also, like listing descriptions, like you see these listing descriptions that are like 250, 400, 500 words.
yeah,
We're doing 1,000 to 2,000.
wow.
SEO. We're trying to get SEO. We're trying to get as many views onto those properties as possible. So,
For listing descriptions, what's your thought process there for longer descriptions? Is it I want to tell a story? Is it kind of walk me through that a little bit?
we gather as much details about the mechanics and any updates they've done when we do. I mean, I take photos of every single major mechanical product that when we go through the walkthrough, right? So I have that, so they don't have to fill out the whole description of like because they don't know what
Right.
the age of the washing machine is.
Sure.
So we have all that details. We then ask them if there's any favorite restaurants, shopping, or parks that they like in the area, things that they like do with their kids or family. And then we take all of that data, and then we take more information about that property as well. We put it into ChatGPT or an AI. It spits out. We put in the MLS rules because it has the MLS rules. I'll say, please
Sure.
audit this to the MLS rules, and it provides this amazing content. Sometimes it will put like restaurants in there, and I do my due diligence to look it up, and it's like, we're not going to market a fast food restaurant that has
Sure.
like 5 stars or
Yeah.
like five-star reviews. Like there's no
Right.
one going there,
Right.
but it gives a really good output. And then, you just let the SEO come in, which is great. So that's how we look at it from a character
I
standpoint.
love that you are all in on AI. I am doing a lot with it myself, and I'm learning, and we're doing videos. Just for anyone listening, if you're not currently a subscriber to our social channels, please do look us up. Keeping it real, we're everywhere on all the channels. We do short form video there, where I do an AI prompt 2 to 3 times a week for agents that they can use to help grow their business. And one of the things, and I know you do this, with your AI prompts
Yep.
is really thinking about crafting the query is really the most important
Sure.
way. And so I do this with YouTube descriptions. I suspect you might do the same,
Yep.
where I upload a video, I put just, my version of a description in, and then I have YouTube review the video, or sorry, I have ChatGPT review the video, and then say, acting as an SEO specialist that understands the YouTube algorithm, and here's who I'm looking to attract to this video. Here's what I'm looking to the YouTube algorithm to do for me. Please rewrite the description in a engaging way, and you can really just get hyper specific about it. Now, and it always comes up with something better than I could have done. So,
Totally. No, I mean, and talking to it like that, it takes a moment for people to write like, I want this to be elegant,
yep,
1,000 characters. I want you to include restaurants. I want you to include local parks, schools. Like you have to talk to it in a certain way, and then you have to give it more details at the end and massage it. So it's not perfect, but like it gets better and better the more you talk to it with chat, like the pro version at least. So.
well, I love that you're using AI. You also are really big with virtual assistants. I am as well. I'm all in
Yep.
on virtual assistants. They make my life so much better. And I'm
Yeah.
so grateful that we live in a world where I can have people that, from all over the world who are willing to, work with me. They're
Yep.
effective, they're efficient, they're super knowledgeable.
Totally.
And let's talk a little bit about it. And you love it so much. You created a whole company
I did.
specifically for real estate agents called Cura
I
to
did.
help them streamline. So tell us about Cura.
So Cura was born out of my need for a virtual assistant. I had a daughter. She came home early. She was born 10 weeks early, right?
Oh,
And
wow.
it was scary. Like,
Yeah.
my wife was at home and she's now amazing. She's running around. But I realized after she was like 6 months old, I'm like, I need to delegate things away. I can't keep be a present father and husband and not be there for my clients, right? I need to let go. So I brought on a virtual assistant in 2023. And, I had this whole idea of let's email every agent at a certain brokerage, okay, for the next year 4 times and see what happens. So
Yeah.
we emailed 90,000 emails that year.
Love
And the
it.
next year we got 4 deals. And I was like, holy cow, I got a 4x ROI on this thing. So I was at a retreat with a bunch of top agents around the country, and they came up to me, we're at dinner, and they go, how are you doing all this volume so quickly? And what's the secret? I said, the VA. And they're like, can you help us find one? And so I found 2 agents of VA. And then my goal this year was, hey, let's find one virtual assistant per year or per month to help one agent. By Easter, we had 20 clients.
Wow.
And I was like, all right, I need help. So my cousin was the 25th employee of Uber, and he was retired. And he looked at the numbers and he's like, this is amazing. Like, tell me about it. Like, what are you passionate about? Why are you doing this? And I told him both versions, why I'm passionate about helping people in the Philippines, why I'm passionate about helping people here.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm in. So then he came in, and then the chief of staff for Waymo, the self-driving car company, who's friends with my cousin, heard about it. And he's like, I'm in. So it's us three running around, these
Amazing.
3 crazy guys running around. And now we're up to 33 VAs since pretty much kind of like May. We had we had the 20 clients, but now we've tripled the size of the business in like 3 months. And now we have this business exploded. And that's why I wrote to you. I was like, I gotta tell the world about this, right? We are real estate specific. And what's specific about this, I saw all these other VA companies and I said, what are they doing wrong? And the biggest thing I said, they were offering 40 hours a week. Most
Could you repeat that, please? You cut
manage
out just for
themselves
a
for
second.
40
You,
hours,
you
let
said the
alone
biggest
someone else for
problem.
40 hours. The biggest problem is agents cannot manage themselves for 40 hours, let
Right.
alone someone else.
Yep.
Right. So we flipped the script and said, it's kind of like a co-op, right? 10-hour buckets. So we can have one VA working for 2 to 3 agents at a time, and people can pool their resources to use these VAs, and these VAs get
right. I
stronger
can't
and
afford to
stronger.
pay for someone full time.
Yep.
I need 10 hours,
That's it.
and no one's going to work just 10 hours for me. So you have a pool of people that you can plug and play into their schedules, and I can get that 10 hours.
Exactly. And the other thing to think about is retention. So the other VA companies, when a VA would lose if they lost their client, for example, like let's say the client's like, hey, I can't afford this quarter. They'd be out of a job. And what happens then? They have to feed their families.
Yeah.
So they go to another VA company. With us, if we lose a client, Like we had one the other day who was like, I just can't manage. They're like, I just don't know how to manage people. It's not for me. I'm an individual contributor. I'm in New York. I'm fast paced. I can't slow down. I'm like, that's cool. That VA has 2 other clients. So they stay with us and they grow. And it's seen this amazing growth of building things with real estate agents all over the country at different brokerages. And there's a lot of things with tech, tech's the sexy, cool thing. But at the end of the day, what we've seen is a lot of these agents, they're not using the tech.
For sure. For sure.
They're not even using the tech. So the VAs come in and they learn about the tech, then they start using the tech, right? And I think that's been a really amazing thing to be able to wake up in the morning, we're helping people overseas, and I'm also helping people here to provide a better product to clients that are buying all over the country. And I feel like I'm a part of that every day. It's pretty cool.
Really exciting. Tell us what the VAs, some of the tasks they can actually do.
Sure. I mean, I heard a great story today. One was a client concierge, and an agent of ours, and she's a really big agent, was married to an NFL player in Houston. She has one of our VAs calling all of her past clients as the ex team. So it looks like they're from Houston, saying, hey, we offer concierge service. You need any dinner reservations, you need anything, let us know.
Oh, I love that.
Amazing. The other thing is any listings she has is they're calling real estate agents throughout that neighborhood and area that have done a deal in those areas and saying, hey, I'm from X, Y, and Z team. We have this listing coming up. We just want to let you be the first one to know. If you have any buyers or you're looking for anything, let us know. We can get you in first. And she's like, and they're giving daily reports to the clients. So the clients are like, wow, holy cow, like you're everywhere. Like, this is amazing. You're cold calling people and then you're giving me daily reports on this. Like no one else is doing that. So just stuff like that's incredible to hear. And she told us that today. So that was an awesome story.
I'm going to totally break what we were just talking about with virtual assistants, because I wanted to go back. I apologize for the non-continuity here, but you had said something very important at the beginning and I just forgot to go back to it. So I'm going to go back to it now, and then we're going to go back into virtual assistant. This is not the way to structure a well-flowing podcast, but I think this is super important. You said at the very beginning, when we were talking about your marketing background, you had mentioned that you've sort of flipped the script and you were more interested in building relationships with other agents.
Yes.
And all over the country, which again is really, really smart. Because we sort of kind of went past that. I want to just real quickly take a quick detour. Let's go into that. Why did you do that?
I knew I wanted referrals inbound, and I knew long-term, I didn't know if it was coaching or something, but I knew I loved helping other agents. And so right now you can call me a manager, whatever it may be, of 3 agents on the Second City Agents team. And a lot of people don't know that. So I help Eli with half a quarter of the team. But I loved connecting with other agents around the country. It almost felt like I was like flying in and like traveling when I would connect with them. And the biggest deal I've ever gotten was I remember this day, I was mowing my grass, and my assistant here locally said, you just got a message about a referral for $2.1 million coming to Chicago. And they flew in, and they bought the house. And 7 months later, they were like, hey, we were here 20 years ago. We were really not vibing with Ravenswood anymore. Can you sell the property? So then they sold the property for, I think it was like $250,000 more. Wow. And then we bought another house in Winnetka for like $2 million. So it was like $6 million in less than a year from Instagram. And it was from the referral program. Or just like, I just in my mind knew I wanted to start having inbound referrals. And I knew it was bigger than just Chicago. It's everywhere. People are coming here. We live in the 3rd largest city in the richest country in the world. And they're going to continue to move here. Right. So I love that saying. Shout out Eli Massoud for that line. I love that line.
That is such a brilliant idea. So really, if you don't have an agent network, think about adding that to your marketing plan and start thinking about how you can help agents in other parts of the country and where people who live in your area where they move to and where people might move in from and start developing those relationships and building those connections. And that's what I figured you were doing. And I'm so glad that we took that quick detour. Let's go back to the virtual assistant play, because and virtual assistants can help do this as well. They can help.
This is how it started.
Yeah, I love this. So talk to me more about, so I'm an agent.
Mhm.
and I'm doing so many different I'm wearing so many different hats. I'm doing so many different tasks, and some things I'm good at, some things I like to do, other things I'm not as skilled at, or and some things I just don't like to do as well. And but I have to do them, right? And I trying to figure out what I should do and what I should delegate. So maybe let's start there. So if you were an agent trying to figure this out, I know you've already figured this out for you.
Yep.
How would you start to think about, because what I want to make the case for is everybody needs a virtual assistant.
Sure.
So let's make the case. How do you first figure out that you need one?
If everyone on this call or on this podcast is listening and has just thinks, is there one thing that they could delegate away right now? The answer is yes. Okay. So then you got to group it. You've got daily, you've got weekly, you've got monthly, and you've got quarterly tasks, right? And then you break that down. I have this daily task. This person's responsible. Are they trained on that? And then you're tracking it. Okay. And then you're analyzing, is it working for my business? And if you start with one task the first week, maybe you start with one daily task and one weekly task. Then the second week, you add another one and another one. And after about a month to 2 months, you've got 8 daily tasks going and 8 weekly tasks going. And then you start adding in projects, it's game over. I mean, driving back from the office to my home office, I literally got on the phone and needed my assistant to create 4 emails blasts for different listings, an upcoming summit I'm going to speak at. Like, I needed all of this stuff done. I don't have the time. Now I'll have the time to approve it or proofread it, but I don't have the time to build it out. And she does. And she's also doing all my other daily tasks. So if that answers your question,
Yeah.
start with 1 to 2 things.
And do you have different VAs who have different skill sets doing different things,
We do.
or are they sort of trained in everything?
We do. I always say that social media VAs can step back to admin stuff, and usually admins can't step up to social media. So right now we have a director of operations that is very proficient in social media and does all of our administration stuff. And then we have a social media slash like BD person that creates a calendar. And then at the beginning of every month, she sends me like 15, literally scripts and like what she wants me to do. And she says, do this, record yourself, and then send it to me, and I'll make it look pretty.
I
And
love that.
I do it in one day, and it's done. And I tell her to always tell me like a week in advance, and then give me a deadline. Hold me accountable to
Yeah.
that deadline. So
I have a virtual. This is funny. I have a virtual assistant, also from the Philippines. And by the way, I'm so grateful that the Philippines is a nation that exists
amazing
and
nation.
has the nicest people on the planet who live
Yep.
there, and also the hardest working. I mean, they are just a treasure to work with. If anyone's ever worked with anyone from the Philippines, it's. I've never had a bad experience, and
Yeah,
I
so
have a
nice.
lot of experience with virtual assistants there, and you're really helping them tremendously. That is a country that really benefits from this exact sort of opportunity. And I have one. Her name's Jenica. She is my right hand woman, and she helps me in business. She also wakes me up every morning at 6 a.m. and she calls me. Now it's not 6 a.m. her time, of
Oh.
course. It's like 6 p.m. So it's no big deal for her. And she doesn't. It's not like I'm this lazy American who's like, I got to have somebody wake me up. No, I set my alarm for 5:55 so that she doesn't actually have to call me at 6, but just in case I sleep through it and I don't send her that message at
Oh.
5:55, then she at 6 a.m. she will, click on WhatsApp, give me a quick call. It's time to wake up. Now, in the 2 years she's been doing this for me, she's only ever had to call me once or twice, and the rest is like I'm just too embarrassed. So I immediately wake up. I go, Jenica, I'm up. I'm up. But this was something I needed because I struggled to get up in the morning, and
Yeah.
you can have virtual assistants help with this. Now, it takes her all of 15 seconds to just call me or whatever. It's like no big deal to her. She's getting paid for it, and I have her helping me schedule plan dates with my partner, with my girlfriend. She's saying, here's all the cool things going on in Chicago this weekend. What do you want to do? Dinner reservations and things like that too. So virtual assistants are so helpful because I don't want to spend time. It's not that I don't want to find cool things to do with my girlfriend. I do. I just don't want to search for all the cool things. I want all the cool things to come to me, and then I just filter through those top 30. Like, or in your case, the scripts you're getting for your social media
Sure.
content, right? You
Sure.
want that brought to you, and then you can make those decisions much more quickly. And then
Yep.
also that accountability piece. is so important as having give me a due date, make sure I'm doing it, and we all need accountability too. I love this, but it really is this thing that if you're listening and you're like thinking, I don't know how to give up that control, then work on that, because you will benefit so much by not digging your claws into every part of your business and trying to hold on to everything and do it yourself. You're just not going to be able to. This is the
Totally.
bottom line. And
No,
we also know
totally.
that multitasking, it's been well proven it does not work. Nobody can do it. Virtually nobody is good at multitasking,
Nope.
and real estate agents are all having to multitask all day long because that's just the nature of the job. So virtual assistants can help you do that. And what I love about Cura is that you have specialized people for different tasks, because this
Exactly.
is a problem for people when they start looking into virtual assistants. A lot of times they'll go on Upwork, they'll submit, to try to find someone, and then they get 100 resumes
Yep.
and they're like, gosh, I don't know who to choose. I don't know, they can look at reviews and that's good, but can this person do everything like you said? Could they do
Hmm.
social media and admin tasks? Probably not. Well, if they could do admin tasks, they probably can't do social media, but the reverse maybe works. So you really need somebody who's got a team in place specific to real estate stuff, and that's what you've built. And so and we're talking about also what I love is I'm assuming your virtual assistants can also do things like you get a client and then they can start to create a calendar. Here
Yep.
are all the important dates, and they can reach out to you and say, today's the day you need to call so and so, and let them know it's 45 days before closing or whatever. uh,
Exactly.
they could do all that. So did you build a lot of those systems and then train the staff on them, or where are you picking up some of these systems?
We're picking up, I mean, put a lot of, we create systems and videos, we record them, we then have them go through about a month onboarding process, and then start working with the real estate agents. So there's also, we launched Cura Academy, which is partnered with like another company that essentially they can take continual education for free to level them up. So we believe that they should continue to learn and progress through their career either with us or somewhere else. I want them to continue to learn. And also having, like, we have monthly jam sessions where we have one of, like, for example, we had his name's Ace. He was working for an agent in Nashville, and we heard about this amazing document that he created, Excel document, where he plugs all the information in from all of like homes.com, all the different websites, right? And then it essentially creates a email. He takes that email and the listing agent looks at it and then sends it out for his listing report every week to his sellers. So it's just like stuff like that. It gets better and better and better over time because we're only working with real estate agents, and our VAs are all, it's like a round table of talking. And if like they don't know the answer, they'll go to one of the other 32. And if the 32 don't know it and my VA doesn't know it and I don't know it, then it probably doesn't exist, possibly. Or we do some research on it and we figure it out.
I always think too that CRMs are often neglected, and not so much in the daily activities. People use them and know what they need to do day to day, but in updating the data for the
Oh yeah.
client. And a virtual assistant is like the perfect person to be able to call every single person in your CRM or past
Yep.
clients and say, "Hey, I just want to make sure we have your birthday correct in here. I just want to make sure we have XYZ data in here." Even if you want to know somebody's wedding anniversary or
Yep.
whatever information you want, maybe their kids ages or birthdays, you could have that person call on behalf of you and say, well, we're updating your data, we want to celebrate your birthday every year, we don't have it, when is your birthday?
And
And
that's a touch point, DJ.
yes,
That's a touch point because they saw that your team reached out and actually cared about them, and then they remember you, right? And that's where a lot of agents are missing it. You know that too. So it's kind of crazy. So it's just small little touches like that. It just takes it to the next level.
yeah, let's talk about, so if I'm so if I, so I'm an agent, I've now thought about some tasks that I do. For example, some agents are really great at every day on Facebook. They see the list of happy birthdays, or the birthday, or they do this on LinkedIn as well, and then they start sending messages to people, however they want to do that. But that takes time. It's a fairly repetitive task and something that probably could be automated, or at least delegated, rather, not automated, delegated to a virtual assistant. So even things like that could be super helpful.
Totally. I mean, transaction coordination, chief of staff, client concierge, lead follow up. I mean, there's so many things that you can delegate away. It's wild. Like the one where you have your VA calling, I'm like, holy cow, I should probably implement that because I always hit snooze. So at like 6 a.m., you're earlier than me.
Well,
So,
it's what's funny is yeah, that's helpful for me, but one thing that's really helpful for my relationship is she will say, "Okay, you have to plan, not my girlfriend, but my virtual assistant." I've told her, "Make sure I plan at least one date every single week, and by Wednesday, I have to have the date planned because if I don't, then it's going to be really hard to get it done in time for the weekend." So yeah, so we have a process for even things like that because and another thing she's done is even people in my personal life who I want to make sure I stay connected to. And again, you can translate this over to business. Is she makes sure that I'm calling my friends every so often. I want to make sure I'm staying in touch with so and so every
oh yeah,
90 days, just to, for my own personal. But again, business stuff. Yeah, this is all things that virtual assistants can absolutely do and keep you productive. So if somebody wanted to explore Cura, what's the process? How do they get involved?
so you go to workwithcura.com, you'd fill out the form. Then we have an initial consultation. Okay. And then you would have a interview with the VAs. And then from there, we would have a weekly call with you every single month after that, free of charge. And then a monthly call after that as well. So that's reoccurring too, just to make sure we value the feedback of the agents to hear about like what's going right, what's going wrong, what are you creating with your VAs, and just almost like a mastermind group of content. And we're just pumping it out as much as we can. If we find something that's valuable, we'll send it out to all the agents as well. So
Oh, that's really cool too. Yeah, some extra like, hey, so and so in a different
totally.
part of the. Oh, I love that. It's a
Yep.
group think kind of
It's like a group
situation.
think. Yep.
Wow,
Yep.
a
Yep. Free.
mastermind.
Yep. It's a mastermind. Yeah. It's free. And
Wow,
people are blown away. They're like, how are you not charging like for these extra things? And I'm like, we shouldn't. We should make this as the best possible version it can be and as simple as possible. Right. And that's what's special about it. So I think that's why it's been growing so fast.
that's amazing. And you can choose the number of hours. I'm sure you have packages. You have
Yeah, it's all on the
minimums.
website. It's
Yeah.
all on the website. You know exactly what the prices are going to be. You know exactly how it works, and then one of us will get in contact with you as well. So,
What have you estimated? Because you're a data guy. What would you estimate your ROI is on a virtual assistant? Not as a owner of Cura, but just as an agent yourself.
well, for me, I mean, it was 4x last year.
Wow.
I brought in. I think I spent like $10,000 last year, and I brought in about 40,000 on. And it was specifically though, like I could tie it. It was emails outbound, bulk emails. The agents saw them. They emailed me back, said, "Hey, I have a client. I saw your email a couple months prior," because they don't delete their emails, right? They're in the inbox. So they searched Chicago because we send 4 emails a year about cool things about the city we love, like the best tropical restaurants, stuff that's really out there, right? Marketing, right? And and then I also bonused my VA as well because you did this work, you should be incentivized as well, just like me. So, but then I hear stories like in Houston where she got 3 listings for like $4 million from calling, just calling past clients, just saying, "Hey, we're checking in. How are you doing? Oh, hey, can you come by? I want to possibly sell my house." I didn't even know that till today. Her name's Alicia. She told me this. I was like, wow, that's incredible. So the ROI, I mean, it's endless on it. If you get one deal, it pretty much pays for a VA, right? One deal pays for a VA, a part-time VA. So, I mean, if you can get one deal a year because of the systems you're having them do, you need to look at the systems and say, is this going to give me an ROI? And then if it's not, cut it. So,
Yeah, it's really really smart. What we're talking about is efficiency and effectiveness too. And you're also leveling up your VAs. You're not just they're not just staying at their current skill level. You have an academy where they're learning new skills. I
yep.
imagine you're pushing them hard with AI right now. I would imagine that is a big thing because they can do so much more with AI than we'll be able to do because they'll be able to interface with it more often.
Yeah, totally. And like, if you look at it, I tell everyone to get ChatGPT Pro or whatever it may be,
Yeah.
Perplexity, whatever it may be, use it for a few weeks by yourself. Then give your VA your login. And now they are speaking and they sound like your brand. All the agents want to say, I want to be on brand. I want to be on brand. Well,
Oh,
now they can speak like you. Like I always say, let's go in everything. ChatGPT now says let's go all the time. It's like super positive outgoing. It is me, right? And now my VA is me, but in the Philippines. So it's kind of crazy. It is crazy.
That's really interesting. So you've trained ChatGPT on your particular personality and your mannerisms and your style, your aesthetic,
Yeah.
and the way that you communicate. And yeah, I've done the same thing. I talk to ChatGPT all day
Yeah.
long, or not all day long, but certainly I love being able to talk to it and have conversations. And it again, it starts to change the way it reflects back to me based on what it knows about me, and then giving them the the VA, the login is really smart because then now it is speaking in your voice.
Yes.
And oh wow, I never would have thought to do that. That is
Yes.
because you just solved a major problem because we think about this a lot. We say, okay, I'm going to hire a virtual assistant, but they live in a different country. They don't
Sure.
maybe understand my culture or our
Yep.
culture. We just have different backgrounds, different histories, and they have different values, and of course they do, and different ways of being marketed to. Even different fonts appeal to different people in different cultures, things like that. Different colors. It's all different, and we can't expect somebody who lives in a different country to know all of the ways in which Americans
Nope.
are what light up Americans. But ChatGPT knows what lights you up,
Yep.
and you know what lights up your audience. And so
Yep.
now it's speaking in that language, and they don't have to try to figure it out.
Nope.
ChatGPT will help them with that messaging. That is really smart.
Yeah. I mean, it's the biggest thing I've heard from agents is I want to be on brand. I want to be on brand.
Yeah.
This is how you be on brand. Like it knows your voice. And some teams or some agents will have multiple agents, and I'm like, and they're using the same VA. I'm like, give them logins for both. So now they have the voice of both of you. Right. So, and I give them, I would even give my agents, if they ever needed to do anything for me, I would give them my login and they can use it, and it speaks like me. So it's over time.
Well, I am excited. I'm waiting for the just to go off script a moment. I'm waiting for the day that AI, and I don't know when that's coming, if it's coming, but I hope it is, where it thinks of an idea for me on its own and says, "Hey DJ, I was just thinking about this.
Oh,
I've
wow.
got an idea for you."
Wow.
I'm waiting for that. We may be
It's going
some
to be
time
there.
away.
No, it's going to be there. I mean, look at what happened with the iPhone today, the new update.
Yeah.
It's you can now I could have an AirPod in my ear, and you could be speaking Spanish. It will be translating to me in my ear. Are you kidding me?
I've just ordered the new AirPod
Did they
3s.
come out?
Well, they're not shipped. They're not shipping yet. They're shipping, I think, middle of next month, I think, or
I'm
the end of
ordering
this
them
month. So
today.
yeah, I've ordered it. I'm excited to test that out.
Smart.
I had a guy at my place yesterday who was a handyman. He was a plumber fixing something, and he was Ukrainian, and he really didn't speak English. And we were speaking through Google Translate, which was pretty effective. But it's
Yeah.
I have to type it out, and then I have to play it, and then he has to hear
Yeah.
it, and we're going to be able to just do it through through the AirPods now,
Wild.
and yeah, it's very very exciting. I think the future is really figuring out efficiency, and
Yep.
what's so great about this, and I know you agree, is that it allows the agent. It feels overwhelming at first, and it feels
Sure.
like a really stressful sort of thing to move things over to somebody else and put a lot of trust and faith. And yeah, maybe initially you're going to work a little harder to train them and get them up to speed. And yeah, there's going to be that discomfort there, like there is whenever you try anything new. And like I'm learning Notion right now
Okay.
as a tool, and it's
Yep.
bending my mind. It's really I'm having a hard time grasping it, but I'm right on the precipice of figuring out why this can completely organize my life. And probably I should have a VA who's an expert at Notion as well, help me with it. And it's frustrating. I'm like I'm almost there, but I know once I figure it out, it's going to allow me to do what I do best, which is not organize my life, because I'm not good at that, and I need help with that. So I think it's first like identifying what you're not good at, but needs to get done. Like I'm not good at calling my clients, right? That's a big one. I'm not good at
Sure.
calling my past clients and
Sure.
checking in with them. I don't like doing that. It's not something I'm good at. Okay, there's a solution for that, right?
Totally.
We can figure that out. And maybe you do have to make those calls. Maybe that is something you have to do, but ChatGPT, along with a virtual assistant, can give you 25 reasons to call somebody, and
Yep.
with items of value, right?
Yep.
So I love that Cura is this company that is really taking virtual assistants, which let's face it, virtual assistants they can have jobs in all sorts of different industries, and it's tough on them.
Sure.
It's got to be rough. And I
It
love
is.
that you're taking them and specifically plugging them straight into real estate. So that's kind of their main focus, along
That's it.
with, and real estate has all sorts of spokes as well. We've got
Oh yeah.
marketing and customer service and just obviously operations and compliance and all this stuff. And you're training them, you're making sure that that team knows real estate
Mhm.
processes and efficiencies and optimizations. And then I come to you and say, great, I don't have to train somebody. I just
Nope.
want to find somebody, I'll have to tweak a little bit, I'm sure, but somebody who's already got experience, who knows what they're doing. And I trust you because you're in this business, you
Yep.
know what works.
Yep.
And I think this is just a really, really great product. So
Thanks,
for
TJ.
anyone out there who is not currently using a VA, wants to explore how to 4X their investment, which again, I don't think that's an outlier. I think that's pretty reasonable. I would say I probably have a similar experience. I use VAs a little bit differently than you do, but I would say I've probably had a similar ROI. And I need to figure out how to
Sure.
measure that because I'd like to know exactly. But I've been using VAs for years. They have saved me in so many different ways. And I think this is such a smart idea. Also, we should mention that you do work with agents all over the country. We are a market here that
Do.
Chicago people don't always stay here in Chicago. They go elsewhere. A lot of times they go to Florida, they go to Texas, they go, well, really anywhere that's warmer, especially in the wintertime and when they retire. So you obviously want to continue making those relationships stronger or new relationships. So we have thousands and thousands of listeners, guys. So if you like what you've been hearing from Jarret, if you think this is the kind of team I want to partner with, and we didn't even talk so much about what you do, but obviously you're doing it well. You're on
Yeah.
one of the top teams in the city. You've been featured in all sorts of different media outlets, and you've done hundreds of homes, so you know what you're doing. How should other agents reach out to you if they want to make a connection?
Sure. Sure. You can follow me on Instagram at Homes of Chicago. And then my email is just my first name, Jarret, Jarret, period, Jarvis at compass.com.
Perfect. Well, Jarret, I so much appreciate your enthusiasm, your forward thinking, and just your
Thanks, DJ.
you and I have I think a similar mind, at least in a
Oh,
marketing
yeah.
sense. And I've learned a lot today. I know our audience has. If you appreciated this episode, please do us one favor, tell a friend. Think of another agent that could benefit, somebody in your office, some other agent you know. This is really an episode that just about everybody should listen to. You'll get something out of it. So, or you already got something out of it, but send it to someone else so they can get something out of it. Also, thank you to our sponsors. On behalf of Jarret and myself, we thank our audience. We've been doing this for, I think, 7 years now. We are so appreciative that you continue to come back and listen to my voice and in this case, Jarret's voice today. And Jarret's appreciative too. So on behalf of the audience, we thank Jarret as well. Want to see everybody on the next episode. Please subscribe to my short form video stuff. Look for Keeping It Real on any of the social channels and let me know what you think of those short reels. They're AI prompts I do 2 to 3 times a week just to help you be more effective with your ChatGPT queries so you can run your business better. And you're going to want to go to workwithcura.com and get yourself a real live person. There is no substitute. Yes, we can use ChatGPT for a lot. We can use AI for a lot, but it can't do everything. And what we're talking about, you really need a real life person. That's just the way it is.
Someone still has to do it.
Yeah. 100% agree. So workwithcura.com, CURA, workwithcura.com, and also follow Jarret on Instagram, Homes of Chicago, and check out his YouTube as well. So Jarret, thank you so much. We will see everybody on the next episode.
Thanks, TJ. Thanks for having me. It was lagging there a little bit.
Yeah, no big deal. Hang on one sec. We're good. I'm just going to end.